So this is Sam Griffin from Coventry City Council. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
Oh, Neil, I'm great. Thanks, yourself.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. And I'd imagine it's a really busy time for you in the public sector at the moment.
Extremely busy supporting frontline services and those people that still have to get up and go out for work every morning. That don't have the luxury of working from home, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I understand it, public sector is often seen as a safe haven in times of recession. Um, I know you've got quite a lot of data on application volumes and candidate experience. What are you able to determine that's happening for Coventry at the moment?
Yeah, so looking at application levels and things, and also just general market trends, we can see that public sector is maybe becoming a little bit more sexier because of the security element that we can offer. But in terms of what we've seen, we've had a variety of uplifts in application levels, but in certain areas, for us, refuse collection, care working, and social services and children's services in particular, they've been the most prevalent areas we've seen uplift since we're looking at Q1 data around 5 times the amount of applications in certain areas.
Wow.
Which has been a blessing in some areas and led us to be able to make a reactive approach and scale back in some areas as well in our advertising activity.
Wow, amazing. And how have you managed to keep on top of the candidate experience with that sort of increase in volumes? What's the feedback been?
Yeah, so the feedback's been really good, and I think one thing that we've been able to do is we've got a continuous cycle of communication throughout the entire life cycle of the process with candidates. So we're aiming for, contact should be every 2 to 3 days in some sort of format. So we can do that we try to manage it via Tribepad in terms of email, text, and also the workflow applications that we can design in bespoke, so that we can share information on a time basis. But feedback from our candidates, I mean, we'd expect, considering that we went live at the beginning of Q1, we'd expect quite a tumultuous period for applicants while we kind of weed out any issues or anything like that. But in terms of what we've seen, we've had overall experience kind of coming in at 9.4 out of 10. We measure 5 metrics on our feedback for candidates. So that includes communication, overall experience, the ease of use of the system, etc. And for all of those, we were scoring above 9 out of 10, which is a great success.
Yeah, and I guess having those numbers at your fingertips must make a real difference. I'd imagine in public sector, you've got a lot of stakeholders who are interested in the makeup of the applicants and the hiring outcomes. So what data have you been able to get out of your platform, and how's it working for you?
Yeah, lots of data has come, which is it really helps us reinforce and drive change within the organisation. So, I mean, historically, we've not had a massive data to actually make informed decisions. So, I mean, a summary of some of the things that we have been using, particularly through COVID times, is our time to hire, but more than just our time to hire, being able to break that down, analyse at which stages we are taking what time to complete. So how long are our candidates staying in an application state? How long are they staying in interview state? And how long are we taking to actually onboard? Because we manage the process end to end. So that's been very, very useful. We can break that down on a service area by service area basis. So I don't give a sweeping statement covering the whole organisation. I can go to directors or senior stakeholders and say, okay, this is the data set for your area in each given period. This is what we're finding. We can break that out by levels or seniority of posts that we're recruiting to. And obviously, with ourselves having to report publicly, it's vital that we can get stats and data that are up to date and in real time. So, for instance, our cabinet members are pushing us almost daily and weekly, and so are the LGA to provide stats. It makes things so much easier when you can just pull them off. But I mean, slipping back into business as usual, we've got quite a robust equality, diversity, and inclusion program, which is continually evolving. So for the first time in our history, in our organisation's history, we can actually provide data on performance in different geographics. So, for instance, in Q1, we could monitor that 40% of our applicants came from B.A.M.E communities.
Yeah.
That runs across a backdrop historically of around 18%. So we've got something to work off there in terms of what are we doing differently via our new processes that we've implemented, or is it a circumstantial kind of result that says, well, we're hiring more in certain areas because of COVID, and how do we weigh that up against Q2's results, Q3's results, and carry on to do some trend analysis from there. But more than that, it's being able to say, right, so this is how many kind of applicants we're getting, this is how many are coming through to interview stage, and this is how many we're actually successfully putting into post. And we've seen uplifts in since we started using the Tribepad system and the more diverse advertising. In actual fact, we use diversity job boards via the vacancy poster system. So we can see uplifts in ethnicity applications and hires. We can see the same for disability and the same for sexuality of LGBTQ members as well.
Fantastic. And I mean, that sounds like, increasing from 18% to 40% from B.A.M.E backgrounds, and those positive increases you're seeing in other characteristics. That's really important, I guess, for the diversity of the organisation and hiring outcomes. So congratulations. That sounds like really positive steps forward.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, it's one of our main straplines is being representative of the community that we serve and taking those experiences into an organisation so that we can give best customer services and provide services that we actually need is very, very important.
Fantastic. Right, thanks for joining us, Sam.